Still not seeing it. Let's see. Okay. Honor, honor to everyone that's watching. Honor to everyone that's joining the chat. Honor to you all. Hope all is well with you all. Hope all is well. Hope you all are in good health. Hope you are traveling safe on the road. Hope all is well. Give me a second, y'all. I'm um um I'm contemplating if I should do the Watchmen breakdown right here right now, or it's something else that I wanted to get into. Um, but yeah, but much love to you all. Thank you all for joining in. To everyone that's watching, to everyone that's joining the chat, honor to you all. To Sister Cherokee Talute, honor to you. Talute, honor to you. Cape Fear, honor to you. Timbuktu, son of Papoose, honor to you. Star Strike, Chaska, Chesequa, Genesis American, Brother Big Scoop, Zania B, honor to you. Aboriginal Power, uh, Amina Abdullah, honor to you. I think that's it. All right, so I don't know, man. Like, no, you know what? I think this is more important first than the Watchmen thing. But let me tell y'all something, man. I heard a conversation today, right? Because I just got home, so I heard a conversation today, right, taking place at the train station, and these two brothers, they was talking about our people need hope, that hope died for our people and we need to regain it back, right? And one brother was saying that there is no hope, and that there is no hope that's coming, or don't look to think that there's going to be any inspiration of hope out there when you're here right now to make that possible for you and those who are around you, right? So I'm like, I'm listening to their conversation, and a thought came across my mind, and um Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad, um a lot of these leaders, right? These masculinated leaders that has came and gone, that people looked at as a symbol of hope, as a symbol of empowerment, strength, right? And you start thinking about warfare and the tactics, the mental tactics, the psychology behind warfare, how to conquer um a set of people, or how to conquer a land just by conquering the minds of the people, right? Now, here we are right here. To break hope of a people, right? To break the hope of a people, and to break the mind of a people, you must first give them a leader. You give them a leader, you build up that leader. That leader is still a puppet to you, right? You're still pulling the strings. You put a handler to handle that leader, to be there for that, to be there behind that leader, right? That leader's doing what he's supposed to do. He's pulling in the people. She's pulling in the people. They're pulling in the people. The people are feeling empowered, okay? But when the leader realized, supposed leader realized that he or she is being used, and they start really pushing the real information for the people. They start really not just doing the shallow things, but doing the more in-depth things for the people. Then the handler steps in at a pinnacle moment. They always wait for that pinnacle moment where your hopes and aspirations has risen so high. And then they put that leader who's coming into his role to be a true leader, right? On the main stage. And when he or she's on the main stage, bang, they assassinate them right in front of the public's eye so that you can see it. When you see that person go down and hit that floor, and you know they're not getting back up, that kills the hope that rose within a people. And that sets you back like 20 to 50 years back. That instilled a hell of a lot of fear also within the people. And it takes the fight out of you. Right? So when the young brother was telling the other, he was speaking to an elder. When he was telling the elder that he's telling the elder that we can make our own hope. Why do we have to wait for a leader? You see what I'm saying? When you're sitting here waiting for a leader, you're waiting for the big setup, the big fall, the fail. When you each can lead yourselves. Your actions that you put out in the world, your actions that you put out in your home, the young ones coming up, seeing your actions, will be inspired by that. You don't have to push yourself out there on the mainstream media stage. Just what you do every day. If you're a person that get up every day, every morning, 8 a.m. in the morning, by 9:30, you're out your house and you see a brother or a sister walking down the street and you're walking with a young one with you, and that young one see you greet damn near everybody, that is inspirational to that person, to that youngster. If you're in a marriage and that young one sees you're treating your significant other with much respect, even when you get into an argument and you know how to squash your beef peacefully with others, that's inspirational to that youngster. If you're a hard worker and you don't quit no matter what how hard the odds are against you, and you keep going, that is inspirational to that youngster. You see what I mean? You don't need someone on the main stage to say that's the leader for all of us when you yourself, there's others around you that look up to you, whether you know it or not. There's people out there that will just see you doing positive things and see you working hard trying to accomplish what you need to accomplish, and you're an inspiration to that person, whether you know it or not. Right? But it was just that conversation just took my mind there, and I was just like, this is how our people always get set behind, because when you see them put a leader out there in front of you on the main stage, 9 times out of 10, that's a puppet. It's a puppet. And they do it to break your psyche when they're ready to take them out. Okay? Because no one wants to be a pawn for their entire life. There will always be something in a person that will want to make them rebel against being a pawn. All right? And you've seen that in couple of these civil rights leaders or master teachers at some point. Okay? And some would want to, but they don't, because they fear the consequences. Right? But what I take from each and every single um brother or sister that came up in the world where they were once on the main stage and they were pushing certain information, what I take from it is that I look at how their family look at them, how their sons and their daughters look at them, their mothers and fathers, their neighbors look at them. And when you hear them talk of them with much high regards and much respect, then you realize then in life it's also how you carry yourself. Okay. So that is what I learned from a lot of the master teachers out there, and from the so-called leaders, right, out there. That, well, when I say so-called, the ones that's was on the main stage who, um, society proclaimed to be leaders of the Negroid community, right? I look at it like, oh, I forgot to hit the screenshot. Give me a sec. I look at it like, I take what I took from that. What I took from that, right? I took from that you must lead by example in your own life. Okay, you must lead by example in your everyday life. That's what I took from that. You must be an inspiration, or through your actions of how you carry yourself, you will be an inspiration to others around you. And 9 times out of 10, it will be your peers, your family members, and your friends. And they will absorb that type of energy and exude it wherever they go, and they will be inspirations to others whom are also around them, because even your friends got friends. You see what I'm saying? Your cousins got other cousins that's not on your mother's side, or that's not on your father's side. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we need to stop falling for that one person that they put in the spotlight and say, "Oh, that's the voice of the people." You all have a voice. Every single one of you have a voice. And it is time for all of your voices to be heard as original Americans, as what they call Aboriginal Americans. It's time for all of your voices to be heard. We all must lead by example. But that conversation was just very interesting to me to sit back and, because other than when I speak to some elders, it's been a while since I really saw an elder and a youngster actually sit down and have a real conversation like that. You know what I mean? It's been a while. And that was very something very warming to see. Something very warming to see, because at least you know that there's still a few out there whom are inheriting certain positive, certain clean attributes. You know what I mean? But yeah, that right there, just it was just like wow. It was just like wow, like that's the thought that ran through my head, when I saw that, because I was just like wow. But yeah, man. Um, you know what? Oh, I got the I don't know if you guys, any of you guys have the Black's Law Dictionary. If you guys have it, press one. If you don't have it, press two and let me know. Okay. So just let me know if you okay. Oh, okay. All right, for those who don't have it, I'm going to drop the link to edition 1 through 9 in the chat for you guys, all right? For those who already have, if you don't have 1 through 9, I'm going to drop it in the chat. Let me get the link right now. Give me 1 second here. All right, so that's the link to Black's Law Dictionary, edition 1 through 9. All right. So that's it right there. For those who don't have, for those who keep who don't have any law dictionaries, that's 9 editions right there of Black's Law Dictionary. Each book is about 1,000 pages. All right. So you go on archive, you click that link, it's going to take you straight to archive.org, straight to, let me show you. Let me click on it right here and show you guys. See that? Takes you straight through to it. Now look, here goes the editions down here, 1 through 9, and you download each and every single one of them. Okay. All right. 1 through 9. Let me put it back in the chat one more time for y'all. Okay. All right. So you know, yeah. So you know what? Yeah, mm, yeah, I'm going to go over this. I'll do the Watchmen thing probably later. Uh, this is more important. So you always hear officers, policy officers say this is a lawful order. This is lawful, right? And a lot of people don't understand what they mean by lawful. Okay, and on what grounds may they give a lawful order, and when is an order lawful and when it's not lawful, right? So yeah, I declare war on the like button. Nine Ether, honor, Skullland, honor, Timothy Luster, honor to you. Death to self, honor to you. Uh, I think I said Sister Amina Abdullah, honor to you too, right? So that's 1 through 9 edition. Okay. The other editions, you might have to, if you have like a BitTorrent, you could get 10 through 13 from BitTorrent. All right. Tendaji, Anoki, Two Spirit, honor to you, honor. Selena Morel, honor to you. IMQ, honor to you, brother, honor. All natural flavor, honor to you. What is the example you are speaking of? Oh, kind of lost me there. Elijah Wilkerson, honor to you. Brooklyn Lady, honor. All right. So yeah, so I was. Let me get to it here. Um, Wait a second here. I guess the Bouvier, Bouvier. 1 second, y'all. One second. Okay. Should be screen sharing if you guys can see it. All right, so the moderators, if one of you guys can copy the link that I just put in the chat, and every now and then just drop it in and let them know that's the link to the Black's Law Dictionary, editions 1 through 9. All right, so that they could have it and download it. I want to first go over something with y'all, right? This is something I brought up already before, but um, bishop, a bishop, a bishop, because I want to show you guys something. The reason why they have a Bible in each courtroom, Why there's a Bible there? Because the judge is also underneath ecclesiastical law. Okay, that magistrate. So that magistrate is also acting as a bishop. That's one of the heads of what you call the judge. They have three heads. Okay, three heads. Sometimes you watch some of these sovereign these common law cases where the common law man is in the courthouse, the courtroom, and the judge leaves the bench, and then the judge comes back. Then the judge leaves again two times, and then he comes back again, right, for the third time. Every time he leaves and come back, he comes back on and need a different title. All right. One would be magistrate, one would be bishop. Okay. When he leaves and come back. All right. So we're gonna go over what's lawful and what are and laws also again, right? So a bishop, an ecclesiastical officer, who is the chief of the clergy of his diocese and is the archbishop's assistant. Happily for happily for this country, these officers are not recognized by law. That's not true. That's not true. Okay. They derive all their authority from the churches over which they preside. Bishop's court, an ecclesiastical court held in the cathedral of each diocese, the judge of which is the bishop's chancellor. See that? The judge. So when you go into the courthouses, the courtrooms, when you're in those courtrooms are also turned into uh, uh um um where turned into an ecclesiastical court. Okay, just to give you all a heads up on that. That was just something that I came across. Just to reiterate that back to you guys. Now let's get into it. Let me go back to it here. Two things I want to do first, right? I want to pull up another thing real quick. All right, we're going to go to the etim online. Right, we're going to go to that. Switch this screen. So we want to pull up black, right? And I believe it's the noun of it. Old English black, absolutely dark, absorbing all light, the color of soot, coal. Proto-Germanic black is burnt, source. Swedish dish, burn, shine, source, scorch, burn, from root, shine, flash, burn. No, that's not it. 1 second, y'all. I think this is it. Uh, absolute dark, absorbing all light. Soot, cold, proto. Yeah, I just pulled this up. Why is it giving me the same thing? One was a noun, one was an adjective. Let's go to the verb. Absolutely dark, absorbing all light, cold, black eyes. I'm trying to I had a definition that was letting you know that black means black veil pertaining to death. Okay, now because I want to make the connection to why when you're saying black person, oh, the wrong one, black person. When you're saying black person, okay, you are referring to a dead person. All right. When you're saying you're a black man, you're a black woman, you're a black person, you're referring to death. That means veil. It goes back to meaning a hooded veil, all right, which deals with funerals, which deals with the dead. Okay. And then it goes back also into the all caps, the all capital name. All right. No, we're gonna do it back from give me a sec. I just had it. I had it. Lawful, Booyah, X law. Lawful. We're gonna start from lawful. When we start from lawful, we're gonna run right back into it. All right, because I had this set up on the thing. So let me screen share. Let me show y'all something when I was looking up the legal definition of lawful, and then we're going to pull it up also on the Bouvier, on the Bouvier, and then we're gonna I'm gonna go get find the meaning, the definition of black. Give me all right. So when you if the screen goes blank because I'm switching screens, okay, I'm switching screens. All right. So here, start back. Let's start off with lawful. Here, I was googling legal definition of lawful, right? And it says in accordance with the law of the land, according to the law, permitted, sanctioned, or justified by law. Lawful properly implies a thing conformable to or enjoined by law. Legal, and now it's giving you what legal is. Legal, a thing in the form or after the manner of law or binding by law, like a contract. A contract, when you enter into a contract, it becomes binding, it's legal. Okay? So when you contract with these policy officers, when you answer their questions, when you give them their ID, when you conform, lawful is also conform. When you conform to them, okay, you are now entering a contract, which is a binding contract. All right. There was another definition that they had down here. Let's see which one this is. Legitimate, licit, meaning being in accordance with lawful. Lawful may apply to conformity with law. Here we go, such as natural law, divine law, common law, or Canaan law. Okay. Again, such as natural law, one, divine law, two, common law, three, or Canaan law, four. This also goes back to these societies, to how the underneath the laws of which these societies operate underneath. Okay, which is what they portray in everyday life, but you just don't know. Okay, the lawful sovereign legal applies to what is sanctioned by law or in conformity with the law, especially as it is written or administered by the courts. Okay. You as a sovereign, right? As long as you have not breached the peace, you as a sovereign can give lawful orders to even a deputy clerk of the court, okay? Where you can swear in that deputy clerk of the court to be under to answer to you, where he or she's supposed to go forth and do your will at will or command. I don't want to use the word command, but as you order them to do. All right, then they then become workers for you. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the Bouvier, and we're gonna pull up lawful in the Bouvier. if they have it, if they have lawful in here. Let's see. Law, common law crime, law foreign, law international law, law merchant, law common, law civil, law Canaan, law civil, law arbitrary, law. What they have here. Okay, so they have law right here. In its most general and comprehensive sense, law signifies a rule of action, and this term is applied indiscriminately to all kinds of action, whether animate or inanimate, rational or irrational. In its more confined sense, law denotes the rule not of actions in general, but of human action or conduct. In the Civil Code of Louisiana, Article 1 is defined to be a solemn expression of the legislative will. Okay? And then it's giving you like either this is the case law that is giving you here. I think it's the case law that's giving you here. Or where you can find that example. Now, law is generally divided into four principal classes. Pay attention. Namely, natural law, the law of notions, public law, private or civil law. You hear what they say about natural law? Natural law goes back to, again, it's all of this is common law. All of this falls under common law. So when you see these policy officers coming to enforce corporate policies, those corporate policies are not law, right? The living, breathing man deals with common law, which goes back to the creator's law, natural law. And within common law also falls Canaan law, okay? Ecclesiastic law. So when I used to say to you guys that this system is ran underneath ecclesiastic law, the world is ran underneath ecclesiastic law, Canaan law, that these laws is going back to even the 10 commandments. This is where it's going back to, and everything else is just a fluff, policies, codes that they throw millions of these things out there to hide the actual laws of the land. Okay? So when these policy officers are coming to you and saying, yeah, you were in violation of the law, that's not law, that's color of law. And color of law does not fall underneath none of these right here. All right? Color of law is like their, again, corporate codes and policies or their opinions as they make shit up right there on the spot. Color of law. Okay? So when they saying busted taillight, did you break the law? No. What law? And then it depends too, because if you're in your sovereign capacity, right? Like when we went to the definition here of lawful, and it's saying the lawful sovereign legal applies to what is sanctioned by law or in conformity with the law. Okay, that means the sovereign is only supposed to adhere to what is actual law. Okay, you as the sovereign, living, breathing man is supposed to adhere to what is actual law. So if you actually committed a crime, harmed someone, injured, damaged property, right, had caused injury to any party out there, then you have violated the law. Okay, so common law would state that a criminal offense would be a criminal act or a criminal offense would be murdering someone, stealing from someone, destroying someone's property, causing injury to someone's persons, natural or artificial persons, right? Then that is then you as a sovereign then violating the law. which these will go Canaan law, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. You see what I'm saying? Ecclesiastical law, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, right? Thou shalt not commit murder, right? So when you're stepping in front of the magistrate, the judge, he's also acting as a bishop, okay? Because all of this is what he's also a real judge, not these corporate policy judges. These corporate judges deal with color of law, so they cannot prosecute you on law. They cannot make any decisions and sentence you on as long as they're operating as a corporate entity. Okay, it has to be an actual courtroom. All right, an actual judge. They have to be a real judge. Right. A lot of people don't know that. But the loophole also goes like if you're underneath the jurisdiction of the corporation, the there is breaching the peace. So if you breach the peace and you're underneath their jurisdiction and you're not a sovereign and you're underneath their jurisdiction, they can they can sentence you to prison. They can send you to prison, right? But for sovereigns, their case would have to go before a different type of judge, which they will make sure that it goes before that judge. Okay. Let's get back to it. So now, when an officer is coming in, and an officer is saying this is a lawful order, right? And he's saying this is a lawful order. Now, a lawful order applies if, all right. So another trick that they use is, well, they suspect you of a crime. Now, the reason why they say to give me your ID, and if you don't give it, you're breaking in lawful order, is because they use the thing on you saying that they suspect you of a crime, but they're supposed to be able to articulate the crime that they suspect you of before you even hand them anything. You see what I'm saying? That's when that order can be lawful. But if they can't articulate what crime they suspect you of committing, then that is not a lawful order, right? It is just them holding you against your will. All right. Because they're supposed to be able to articulate what crime they suspect you of committing. Two, if you have not committed the crime, then you don't give them your ID. Because obviously, if you did commit a crime, they would arrest you and then they'll take your ID from you anyway. Because once you're in those handcuffs, your body is theirs. Okay. And this is also why they just make up any form of charges, but unknown to you, what they're making up are not criminal offenses. It's not law. What they're making up on you is a corporate policy. So if you are not underneath in their jurisdiction, those corporate policies don't go for you. If you are still a citizen in their jurisdiction, those corporate policies go for you unless you understand how to contract with them, okay? How to operate in the public and the private also as well. All right. But when you're doing that, you got to also make sure that you're taking care of your paperwork and putting it on the public record and getting it out of their jurisdiction. All right. So like it tells you what the laws are. So when I say to you guys, you must understand ecclesiastic law. It's not to try to trick you to go ahead. You must go read the Bible. No, look, it's telling you right here. Law is generally divided into four classes, namely natural law, the law of nations, public law, um, private or civil law. Right? Then you come down here. It has law, Canaan law. The Canaan law is a body of Roman ecclesiastic law relative to such matters as that church, either as or pretends to have the proper jurisdiction over. All right. So they're saying that the church is either or the church pretends to have jurisdiction over Canaan law. Okay. But all of this falls underneath what they call natural law. All right. All of this falls underneath what they call natural law. And you must understand every single components of these when you're going out there in the world today. Okay. Okay. Where else? What else? This is just something brief, all right, that I wanted to touch base with you on. Um, there was something else. God damn it. There was something else. There was one more thing. Okay. Oh, with black, right? Let's see if we can find it because I was trying to let me go back up. Bouvier. Uh, dum, dum, dum. All right. Oh, also, because I was telling you about the bailiff that you can make the deputy clerk, which is the bailiff, also work for you, right? Let's touch on that first, and then we go down to where we find on black person, bailiff. This is bailiff. The conviction of the mind arising from evidence received or from formation derived not from actual not from actual perception by our senses, but from the relation or information of others who have had me. Oh, that's belief. That's not belief. I'm so stupid right there. That's belief. Let's go back. Bill, bond, bill. Okay. Lot. Balance. Bill. Bailiff. Okay, here we go. Let's see if there's in this. Bailiff process. Bailiff. Bailiff. Account render. Account render. A bailiff is a person who has, by delivery, the custody and administration of lands or goods for the benefit for the owner or bailer, and is liable to render an account thereof. Give me a sec, y'all. Let me get my glasses. Okay. I got my eyes now. Okay. Account rendered. A bailiff is a person who has, by delivery, the custody and administration of lands of goods for the benefit of the owner or bailer, and is liable to render an account thereof. The word is derived from the Old French word bailer, to bail, that is to deliver. Originally, the word implied the delivery of real estate, as of land, woods, a house, a part of the fish in a pond. Mm, it says bailiff is a receiver, but every receiver is not a bailiff. Hence, it is a good plea that the defendant never was receiver, but as bailiff. All right, go down. From a bailiff is required administration, care, management skill. He is therefore entitled to allowance for the expense of administration and for all things done in his office, according to his own judgment, without the special direction of his principal, and also for casual things done in the common course of business. Uh, that's not it. A bailiff may appear and plead for his principal and in 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 an assize, and his plea comments thus what matters he may plead. See, that's not it either. What's going on here? Office magistrates who are merely administered justice parliaments of courts of France, answering the English sheriff mentioned by Bracton. There are still bailiffs of particular towns in England, as the bailiff of Dover Castle, and otherwise bailiffs are now only officers or stewards. Okay, here we go. Stewards. Bailiffs of liberties appointed by every lord within his liberty to serve writs. Bailiff errant or inerrant appointed to go about the country for the same purpose. Sheriff's bailies, sheriff's officers to execute writs. These are also called bound bailiffs because they are usually bound in a bond to the sheriff for the due execution of their office. And the sheriff office is to work for the people because you, the people, voted and elected the sheriff in his position. Okay. So notice the agents, notice the principal, notice the principals, notice the agents. So when they talking about the principal also here, all right, you will be the head principal, okay, because you hired the sheriff. So the sheriff answers to you, all right, and the sheriff hired the deputies, and the deputy sheriff can also be a bailiff in these courtrooms, or what they will call also a court clerk. Okay. So when you enter within the courtroom, all right, and since the sheriff office is under the Constitution, the original Constitution, I need y'all to pay attention, right? Since the sheriff office is under the original Constitution, and the sheriff office took an oath under the original Constitution, which is supposed to be the law of the land, right? When you reach into these courtrooms and the judge, you know for a fact that it's not none of what the magistrates or anyone is operating on. They're not operating on their law. They're operating on the color of law. You can then appoint the bailiff to uphold the law, right? Which is also the court clerk. So if the judge is not going by the Constitution and he's violating law, you can then have the bailiff reprimand and hold the judge in contempt of court. Okay, because the bailiff is underneath the Constitution. That's taken an oath underneath the Constitution, which goes back to also common law, which falls underneath with not only ecclesiastic law but also with natural law as well. Okay, so bailiff. Um, for the Black's law, see, let me see if I could pull it back up here with the Black's law. I had pulled it up in one of these Black's law book, right? So I'm kind of mixing up my dictionaries now. So this is my issue. Let me see if I can free find it back. Because in the Black's law, it tells you straight up and clear, like the bailiff also works for you, for the sovereign. Okay. Uh, let's go back to this. Uh, uh, shrink. I want to scroll. Come on, scroll down. Uh, I want to scroll down. Give me a second now. Let me refresh this. I need to scroll down. It's obviously not doing it. Let me get out of there. I don't remember if it's. Let me see if it's a sixth edition. All right. It's still loading. Still loading. What's the third? Right. Yeah, that's why see that's why brother Q's put the link to the Black's Law dictionary in the archive. Not in the archive, in the chat. Because so that you guys can download it, right? Because what I was doing, I was looking for directly for the collection to send to you guys, but I was breezing through it. You know what I mean? So this is not quite organized because I was just breezing through it, and I came across certain things that I'm trying to find back. But I had went out, so when I went out, I totally like it's like all over the place now. All right, civil officer, judicial highs. This was another thing that I was looking at. A civil officer, right? You know, I'm going to organize this a lot better, and then I'm going to do this back. But let's just go over it. Civil officer, any officer of the United States who holds his appointment under the national government, whether his duties are executive or judicial, in the highest or the lowest departments of the government, with the exception of officers of the Army and Navy. Uh, should have more to it. Okay, that's going to be Bouvier. Bouvier has more to it. Let's go down into civil officer in the Bouvier. There we go. See, it's I already have it highlighted. Civil action, civil law, civil officer. Okay, here we go. Civil officer, the Constitution of the United States provides that the president, vice president, civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office in impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. By this term are included all officers of the United States who hold their appointments under the national government, whether their duties are executive or judicial, in the highest or the lowest departments of the government, with the exception of officers of the Army and Navy. Now, pay attention. So it's telling you these policy officers, except with the exception of the Navy, of the Army and the Navy. The Constitution of the United States provides that the president, vice president, and civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for conviction of treason. Now, treason is those who go also against the Constitution. So when an officer pulls you over on the side of the road and you know that the what the officer is implying to you is not law, it's color of law, and he's going against the Constitution, he's committing treason. Okay? That's treason. All right. So by this in the Bouviers right here, see Black's Law didn't get too deep into it in the Black's Law, it just gave you a fluff version. But right here in the Bouvier, it's telling you that it's treason and that they're supposed to be immediately removed. Okay, so all those cases, all those murder cases, on death by cop cases, you could go back and you could see in almost every single one of them that those officers violated the Constitution, which is an act of treason. All right, when they violated the Constitution, when they pull you over on the side of the road, when they're intimidating you, bullying you, and you know that you are protected underneath the Constitution, and they're going against the Constitution, that is an act of treason. Okay. Right. So going to their courts is like me coming into your house and me telling you what to do. You will listen to me. That is true. That's true. But like I said, once you know your stuff, if look, when you're going to a courthouse, you don't have to go to the courthouse. You don't have to go down there if you have not breached the peace. If you have not breached the peace and they send you an invitation to come to court, that's what it is. It's an invitation. You can decline their invitation, right? You just have to know how to decline their invitation. It even tells you on the court websites that you don't have to go down to the courthouse. You don't have to go into the court for your day in court. You don't have to go down there. Okay, but it's you have to decline the invitation within a certain period of days upon receiving the invitations. If they send you the invitation, some courts you have 3 days, some you have 5 days, 15 days, some is 30. I think 30 days is the most, right? Depending on when your court date is, 21 days, 21 days, depending on when your court date is. Now, if you answer them back before that time or within 3 days time, and you let them know no contract, so on and so, and you send it back into them, then that's what it is. You rejected the invitation. It's an invitation. It's not saying you have to come down here. The officers will put it to you in that way, like you have to go, but you don't have to go because it's stated on the court's website. You just have to read your court's website, and if you don't see it there, that means they're hiding it, and you could call up. You could call up your magistrate's office. You could call up these places and just ask these questions. You see what I'm saying? Ask them, say, why don't you see the rules of engagement of the court, of the courthouses? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, because some people stay at home and deal with a court case over the phone. Okay, some people you don't have to deal with them. Period. Once you decline the invitation. You see what I'm saying? So this is just a few things I wanted to point out to you guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to organize it. I'm going to organize it and bring it to you guys way better, right? Because I just wanted to point out a few things because I was contemplating if I was going to do the Watchman thing or if I was just going to do this, right? Now, black person. Let's look for black person. That's the next thing I was supposed to look for you guys. It should be. Oh, let me see if it should be here in the Black's Law, also as well. Let's see what the Black's Law says. Right. It also has cabal in the Black's Law. Wow. Waiting for it to load. Come on. Let me refresh the screen. Let's try it back again. There we go. Okay. But no. Black book, black act, black act. Black Maria, Black Horse, Black Wolf, Black Cat, Black Hole, Black Male, Black, Black Person. Black person occurring in Constitution and laws must be taken in its generic sense as contradiction. Let me build that up because I can't see that clear. Come on now. Okay, black person occurring in Constitution and laws must be taken in its generic sense as contradistinguished from white. Then you go into here. Let's go back to here. Let's go back to black. Okay. Black, Old English black, absolute, dark, absorbing or light. The color of soot or coal. Germanic black as burnt. Source also Old Norse blacker, Old High German blah, black, Swedish black ink, Dutch blackened to burn, gleam, shine, flash. All from root to shine, flash, burn. The same root produced Old English black, bright, shining, glittering, pale. The connecting notions being perhaps fire and burned, or perhaps absence of color. There is nothing more variable than the signification of words designating color. The usual Old English word for black was swart, right? So swart meant dark skinned people, dark skin, dark. Uh, according to I think it's the online internet dictionary or the Oxford Internet Dictionary. I think it's the online internet dictionary. In me, it is often doubtful whether color livid. No, it's here in in one of these definitions. It's here of coffee. It's just a lot of coffee with doing added attested 1776 was liquid preparation of opium. Medicinally, black fly was use of various insects. Let's go. Black power. How do I do these? Dog. It means veil. God damn it. Why can't I find it? Being in fierce, terrible, late, figurative sense often come from the notion of without light, moral or spiritual. Latin Niger had the same figuratives, however, gleaming, gloomy, metaphoric word, plus meals tended, sin shrouded darkness, overcast, and its being lost, sin, sorrow. Okay. In English, it has been the color of sin and sorrow. At least the 13th century, 1300s, the sense of with dark purpose, malignant emerged in black art, necromancy, and is also the sense of black magic. So necromancy has to deal with death, okay? But that's not the part. That's not the part that I want to show you guys. It literally has the definition of black veil, right? And black veil also has to do with death, okay? So when we're telling you, or when folks is telling you that black by law means death. It's coming together with a bunch of things. It's coming together with the death description or the death definition of the word black. And then when you go into, you come here, right, and you do this, because this is how you are looked up on in the judicial system. Okay, why your legal name is written in all capital letters, which is used uh, capital letters because of uses liquidated capital. In other words, it has been. Okay, now look. Why your legal name is written in all capital letters. Your legal name, which is used by the government to identify you, a body of water or liquid. Notice they put in parentheses a body of water or liquid. So it's not used to identify you. It is written in all capital letters because it is a piece of liquidated capital. Okay. In other words, it has been securitized and turned into financial instrument. So when you're identifying as black, which goes back to meaning necromancy, or black veil, which means death, right? Which means death. And you come to the all caps, to what all caps mean. All capital also means a business, a corporate entity. You see what I'm saying? So your name, when the cops are pulling up the name in their computers, it's not coming up in upper lowers, it's coming up in all capital. So when you're saying that you're a black person, right? I don't know why it's not in the Bouvier. Black person should have been in the Bouvier. This is crazy. But when you're saying that you're a black person, okay, it should be in the Bouvier. Anyway, so when they're saying that you're a black person, because persons, let me show you what persons mean. Now, I can make the connections, because I just wanted to make a clear connection so that you guys understand why the word black person or black man or black woman by law means that you are condemning yourself to death. All right. So now let's go to persons. Here we go. Now it's coming along. I was just looking for that one specific part of the definition just to show you guys, but obviously I can't find it. I think it looked like it's in one of the Black's laws, and that's 9 editions. And I don't remember which edition. That's 9 editions. So that's why I also made sure that you guys got the all the editions. Persons, personal, person. Person. This word applied to men, women, and children who are called natural persons. Okay. So now look, in when the officers are pulling you up, they're not pulling you up as a natural person. Now, natural person goes back to the upper lower case, right? Upper lowers, right? In law, man and person are not exactly synonymous terms. Any human being is a man, whether he be a member of society or not. Whatever may be the rank he holds, or whatever may be his age or sex. A person is a man considered according to rank he holds in society, which all the rights to which with all the rights to which the place he holds entitles him, and the duties which it imposes. It is also used to denote a corporation, which is an artificial person. So now you go back to here, the all caps, right? When you're speaking of, it is written in all capital letters because it is a piece of liquidated capital. Capital goes back to a corporation. Capital going back to business. Capital is going back to assets. Assets all have to do with business, a corporation, which when you come back here to persons, God damn it, clicked on the wrong link. When you go back to here, the persons, It is also used to denote a corporation, which is an artificial person. Okay. So when you go back here and you call yourself black person, all right, you're not saying that you're the natural living man. You're not admitting to that. You're not. It's not what you're saying. When you're saying black person, you're going down to here is also used to denote a corporation, which is a artificial person. An artificial person is not something that's living or breathing. Okay, it's literally a company, or you're saying that you are dead because all caps. Let's all caps also means death. Let me see if I can find it here in the Google. Oh, it's right there. Why your legal name is written in all capital? Government uses you to attach you to a dead fictional character. Okay, so this is one here. Let me see if I can find it on another thing. A large amount of capital investments in all these branches. A capital offense is one of the serious was punishable by death, murder, capital is being let. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Right here. First one. Why your legal name is written in all capital letters. All right. Says please. This is from minithought.org. Okay. Please take notice that the original article was replaced with the new article below. Following the new article was published on, okay, it's the 17th, 20 May 29th, 17th. Your legal name is in the is your legal name is the name that the government likes to use to attach your identity set of characteristics to it, allowing the government to identify you. It is important for you to know that the legal name is not the name given. Oh, damn it. It's not the name given to you by your mother and father. Instead, it is a name created by the government to make it easier for you to do business with its corporation. Okay? So it's with its corporation. However, the government likes to use your legal name as a tool to control you. So it is wise to learn how to use your legal name wisely. To be more specific, your legal name is a name of a corporation created under your given name. The government uses your legal name to attach you to a dead fictional character. Okay? Now, let's break this down to what they're saying. All right. So now we're saying that your legal name is your legal name, your upper lower name. They've attached this dead fictional character name, which is the all capital name, right? Because when you go and you look at we can get out of this. You guys already have the link to this. We can get out of that. Now pay attention. When you look at all tombstones, right? All tombstones. I'm not pulling that one up. That's crazy. Here goes the tombstone here. It's everything is in all capital. Everything is in all capital. Everything, right? Let's go. All capital is the name. All capital. There's no upper lowers. Okay. That's for you. When you look again, all capital, all capital. All right. So that dead entity that they attach to your given name, that dead name, which they attach, that all caps name, which they attach to your upper lower, when you were born and you came out, so did the placenta. The placenta, when it comes out, it still has a pulse. The placenta, it beats. But eventually, it's going to die. It's going to stop. The pulse is going to stop in the placenta when it disconnects from you. Okay? So when it disconnects from you, your mother gave you the upper lower, and then they named the placenta, the government named the placenta in the all caps of your upper lower. So if your upper lower is John, uppercase J, lowercase everything else, Henry, uppercase A, lowercase everything else, Doe, uppercase D, lowercase everything else. Then they named the placenta John Henry Doe in all caps because the placenta is going to die. It is the dead entity, the dead fictional, fictitious character, which they are passing off to this very day as you. But because a corporation is not a living, breathing thing, it's a dead fictional character. It is also a means of a business name, a manner in which to do business in. So what they did was took out that all caps name, created a bank account with using the birth certificate, which is a bond note, that security instrument. Okay, that bond note, which looks like a certificate, your birth certificate. If you look at the birth certificates that you have today, they have the names on them are in all capital. Okay? That's not you. That's the placenta. All right? That's literally the placenta. That's not you, the living, breathing person. That's the placenta. That the with the all caps on the birth certificate. So the birth certificate is really a death certificate. Okay? So now when you call yourself a black person, which which deals with charcoal, burnt, death, um, necromancy. Necromancy deals with death, right? When you call yourself black and persons, they're automatically putting you on any artificial persons, which has to do with the corporate construct. The corporate construct, which links back to the all capital name. The all capital name, which is a artificial dead entity, a fictional dead entity. So when you saying I'm a black person, I'm a black man by law, you're telling those officers that you are dead. Now, they can tell if you know how to contract and if you don't know how to contract. Because if you're saying, well, you're doing this because I'm a black man, and that's all you're saying, then you're telling them that by law you are also dead because you claim to be the dead fictional entity, which is the placenta. That's what you're claiming to be, and it's dead. So when they shoot you down dead in the streets, when they're shooting down your children dead in the streets, they're shooting that down the placenta, which is already dead. So when you see that they're not getting sent to prison for murder in majority of these cases, because it's double jeopardy. Can't get tried for murder for something that's already dead. Okay? That's why. Now, to learn how to do business in the public and the private. Now, you could take control of the all caps name when it's time to do business, right? When it's time to do business, you could take control of that all caps name. But you must let it be known that there's a distinction between you, the living, breathing person, and the all caps. And that's something that you have to put on the public record down at your county clerk's office, that you are the upper lower and you are not the all capital. Okay? So you have to let them know you are the upper lower and not the all capital when you're putting through your documentation at the county clerk office. All right? Yeah, I don't know why it took me so long to find some of this stuff, but it's just because I was looking for one specific definition, right? But and I know I'm gonna keep digging tonight till I find it back because that's how my mind operates. I won't feel comfortable until I find it back. But at least we found the necromancy and things pertaining to death in the definition. So this is what it was about, to show you why a black person by law means death. All right. Because people just tell you, yo, in so and so dictionary it means dead, so and so, but no one really explains it to why, so that people can have an in-depth understanding of it, or to why, to what a bailiff really is. Okay, like when you are operating now it's going to go back to the bailiffs now, because for folks who are having their homes foreclosed on by mortgage companies, okay, mortgage companies are foreclosing on these homes because the mortgage companies are dealing with you as if you are the all caps. This is why. And the sheriff, when the mortgage company are having a sheriff and then put you out for foreclosure, they're dealing with you as if you are the all caps. You're supposed to take care of your documentations, go down to the county clerk, put it on a public record that you are the living breathing man and woman, right? A live life claim, okay, a live life claim, a live claim, letting them know that you're alive, you're not dead, you're not the all caps. Then you're supposed to take those documentations and send them into the sheriff, certified mail, to the sheriff, okay, so that the sheriff can be put on notice of what's happening and who you are. Then you send it into the God damn it, Secretary of State, send it into the the um the Attorney General. All right. Also, and also you're going to also be dealing with the IRS, the governor, and the mayor's office also as well. So these documents go through all these different branches to all these different heads of office, okay, so that they can all be put on notice, right? So now when these mortgage companies go to try to foreclose on these homes, because a business cannot own property. If people don't know on law, a business cannot own property, right? So because a business cannot own property, right? But and when you get more into the studies, it's going to show you that a company cannot own property. So a mortgage company foreclosing on you to take your home away from you, that is illegal if you are documented as the living, breathing man and woman. If not, then what they're doing is they're dealing with the business entity, which you don't know the business side of it. You see what I'm saying? So it's the all caps name that they're going at. That's why when your mortgages are coming to y'all, or certain bills are coming to you, they're coming to you in all caps. Now, sometimes they'll try to send it in the upper lower. Now, this is where you have to understand what it means to be a an executor, right? So when they're sending stuff to you now, when they feel like you caught on and they start sending things to you in the upper lower, and you don't see full colon, right? You don't see full colon, upper lower, right? First name, then hyphen, upper lower, what will be the middle name, right? Or the given, or your you'll say what, full given name, then it's supposed to have full colon, your family name, which is the last name. If it's not written on that, on any letters or any documents that they're sending to you, then it's not addressing you. Okay, it's not addressing you. If it comes without that, then it's addressing the office. It comes in the it's addressing the executor of the office. Okay, so now you would be put as the executor of the office. So now you're dealing with the office. They're dealing with the office of the executorship of so on and so. So when you're answering them back as to the office of so on and so. You see what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of these companies, your mortgages is underneath MERS, which MERS is put as the mortgagee and you're put as the mortgager. Okay. And what is MERS? MERS is a corporation. MERS is a computer. Okay, so that's fraud in its highest. Okay, MERS is a computer, but it's not an overnight study thing, y'all. So it's a lot of studying, a lot of studying. Okay, a lot of studying. Like I said, like when I was going through my court case and I brought down my documentations, right? I brought my documentations. I gave my documentations to the bailiff for the bailiff to go give it to the magistrate, right? And the bailiff saw my documentations. They knew the bailiff knew that my documentations are marking me as the living, breathing man. Okay. When I went down to the county clerk office and gave him my documentations, and I gave it to the county clerk herself. The county clerk herself took my stuff. Okay. So this is why I could tell people the do's and don'ts of when you're going down to the county clerk's office. All right. And what to look out for, and um what to make sure that they don't do with your stuff. Okay. Sometimes you're gonna have to go down there more than once, a couple times until you get through. Okay. But yeah, so anyway, that's the reason why you don't call yourself a black person. All right. That's what black means by law. It means death, artificial. It means that you're an artificial person. Okay. And it identifies you as the all capital letter name. Okay. That's all capital letter name. So, it's just so that you guys have uh real understanding, right? So this is why I give you these names to study up the information that they give you. Give me a sec. I'm gonna type their names in the chat for you guys, right? Because like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm still a student, but I'm just trying to break it down from how I understand the information from my understanding, right? Sometimes you know what I mean. It's not the clearest of thing, but I try to make it clear for you guys to simplify it more for you guys, right? So, um, my name is William Bill. Give me a sec here. What is hmm. All right, so those names and the person that put me onto these people here was Brother Ahua, right? And then it's other people that he put me onto, you know what I mean? Like look, I know Ian is going through that whole pet well, they say Ian is a pedophile, right? But some of Ian's information is also on point too when it comes to foreclosures, right? Some of his information is also on point as well. Okay. Um I can't believe it though. I can't believe I'm not saying I don't believe that he's a pedophile. I'm like it's shocking to me. It just came as a big ass shock. But you know what? Brother Owuor was always well. You know what? Never mind. We're not gonna put that out there. But and other information that I got like I said these people I got put onto by Brother Owuor. All right. So yeah. Okay. So these names here, and then these names will take you to other names. These names will reference other people. And like I said, you just go, you look up the other people that they're referencing, and you take in the information, you take notes of what they drop. They give you laws on top of laws and top of laws and top of laws and top of laws on top of laws. And once you study the laws, just study the laws and know the laws. And when you study these laws and know the laws, contractual laws, when you study and you know these things, and then they give you the law that protects you from them violating you when you're going down to go do your paperwork and stuff like that, you know it's going to be a fight. So you're going to have to keep consistent and keep going at them and going at them and going at them and going at them till you start breaking through. right? But they give you these laws and you just stick with these laws and you will get where you need to go. You will get where you need to go. Okay. And then you start, then the next thing to also study is the UPU. Okay. Which is what I'm still studying right now. All right. Is the UPU. Next thing to study is the UPU. Once you study and you learn the UPU, then that's a whole nother level. That is a whole nother level of dealing with your documents and stamps. That's another level. Now that part I have not done yet. Okay. So I just seen others do it. Okay. So I know it's a whole nother level. But I personally have not done that yet with the stamps. All right. I've worked with my seal and I've worked with my mark, which is my print. I've worked with that. I've done that. With the stamps itself, I have not done the stamps yet. Okay. But that's another level. Okay, like I said, if you learn how to do everything through the post office, because the post office is the highest authority. The post office is the highest authority. Okay, learn to do everything to the post office. All right, and when you understand executive or the what it means to operate from the office of executor, from the executor office, and dealing with the post office, and you understand that this is a form of business where you're really doing business is from office to office. So, oh, my battery died. All right. So if you're at home, your home, if you're the living, breathing man, your stuff is on the public record. Your home is labeled as your domicile or your private or your means of private or your private mail, right? And you have assumed executorship of the estate in the all caps, right? Then your home is the office. Is the office of executor. That is the office. So anything and anyone that's writing you has the right to the office. Okay, if they're not titling anything to the office or to the office of executorship, to the executorship or the office of, then you know what I mean. Then they're operating in fraud. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to want to do that because they're going to want to keep you underneath the all caps and want to keep doing business with the all caps as you acting as the all caps. Okay? Because why? They can't come at the living, breathing man because this is a contractual thing. This is everything is about contract. All right? So, you know, but yeah, y'all. That was it. You know what? I'm going to close this out and we're going to get into we're going to come right back and we're going to break down God damn it, what's going on in my head today? Like I'm still thinking about the meeting I was in. But we're going to come out of this now and then we're going to come back and start breaking down Watchmen. All right? So, give me about 10 minutes and we're coming right back with the Watchmen on breakdown. All right? I studied with Jack Smith, which just passed on 3 weeks. I studied with Jack Smith, which just passed on 3 weeks ago. This stuff does take at least 3 years to get your head around this. See, well, my condolences to you and to the brother that you were studying with. I really don't know who that is, but still, my condolences to you, and to his family. Um, this is what I was telling folks that it doesn't it takes years. It takes a couple years to start really getting this information like down pack. You see what I'm saying? And I've been at it for I think a year, a year. I think a year. I'll say a year, really, going on a year, going on a year. So again, like, look, folks, and I had a good person in my corner that took their time to break it down so that I could catch up on a lot of information real fast. You see what I'm saying? It's just for me to learn how to finesse it fully now. That's my issue. All right. And that was Brother Awar. You see what I'm saying? Brother Awar would be on the phone with me for hours, hours, hours. hours every day, hours every day. So and a 1 hour conversation, just even a conversation with him is something educational, you know. So yeah, but let me end this out. Give me 10 minutes to pull up my info and everything, and we're going to get into the breakdown of the Watchmen because I want y'all to understand that scene. If y'all was watching Watchmen, the HBO series, that scene when she hugged his the chief of police body when he was being hung, when he was hung from the tree, still swinging from the tree, and she hugged the body, and they zoom in on that, and it looked like a real strong embrace. I want y'all to understand that she is his actual wife in the movie. It was an interracial marriage. Not it wasn't the redhead that was his actual wife. She was his actual wife. That's why they had such an intimate relationship. That's why she knew so much about him. That's why he always he broke everything down to her. Things that the one that was supposed to be his wife didn't even knew she knew. Okay, she was his actual wife. But we're going to get into it in a few. All right, so I'll see y'all in about 8 minutes. Peace.